Hi everyone, I'm Kate Hausman from the Delaware Highlands Conservancy, and today I'm visiting one of our conservation easement properties located in Westfall Township. It's called Stairway Ridge. And if you've watched my videos before, you know that the mission of the Delaware Highlands Conservancy is to preserve and protect our natural resources. So what makes this property special is this water that you see around me. So 2 miles of the Bushkill Creek run through this property, and that water has been deemed a stream of exceptional value for our native trout species. So what that means is that this water is clean, cold, and well oxygenated to support life. So today we're going to be doing a little bit of a stream study. We're going to be looking around to see what sort of macroinvertebrates or insects we can find, because they are, like our salamanders, an indicator species. So we're going to be doing a little bit of poking around. Hope you stick around and let's see what we can find. So one of the tools that I brought with me today is this Dichotus Key, and this is going to help us to identify any of the macroinvertebrates that we find. When we're talking about our macros, they're divided into 3 classes. So these guys here are class 1, which means that they are totally intolerant to pollution. They can only live in the cleanest waters. Class 2 are somewhat tolerant to pollution. So that water can be slightly contaminated and they can still survive. Class 3 organisms are highly pollution tolerant. They can live in some pretty yucky waters. So when we're breaking this down, if you find any of these class 1 insects, that means that you have a class 1 stream or a very clean stream. That doesn't mean that these guys won't live there, that you won't find them, but it doesn't work in reverse. So if you're only finding class 3 and not finding any class 1 or 2, that's a good indicator that you've got some water pollution. All right, everyone, so I am in our stream now. I got my tall rubber boots on, and basically what I'm going to do to look for our macroinvertebrates is to just start turning over rocks. Most of them live on the bottom of the stream, so they're going to be clinging to those rocks. I've got my cup to collect them in, and then we'll use our key to identify what we find. All right, everyone, so I'm back on land for a second, and I have something really, really neat in my cup here. Now, if you were to see this, you might not think it was anything special. It just looks like kind of a clump of little sticks. But this is actually the casing of one of our class 1 macroinvertebrates. So we are looking at a caddisfly larva right now, and I actually have some pictures of them so you guys can see kind of what I'm talking about when I say that they have a case. So the larva actually looks like that guy there, and when they go through metamorphosis, that's what they look like in their adult form. But as larvae, when they live in the water, they use all of that detritus on the bottom of the stream, anything basically that they can find, to make a protective cocoon for themselves. So it can be sticks, it can be rocks, it can be pebbles, really kind of all manner of things that they can cover themselves in. And something that's really neat that people do is they will actually bring caddisfly larvae into an aquarium that's filled with decorative pebbles and stones, and they'll actually use those cases to make jewelry once the larva sheds them. So that's a really good find. And we know, remember we said, if we find a class 1, that means that this is the cleanest, purest water. So I've not been having a ton of luck while flipping rocks, so I decided to just plunge my hand into the mud and see what I could find. So as you can see, we've got something crawling around here. So I'm just going to get him moved into my cup, and then we'll take a closer look. Alright, so we moved a little bit away from the water here so that we can take a closer look at what we've got in the cup here. So we'll get a little closer to our key here, and if we compare side by side, you can see that we're looking at a dragonfly larva. Now most people know what dragonflies look like when they're adults, when they're flying around, but they actually spend most of their life in this larval form in the water, up to 3 to 5 years they'll spend in this stage before they undergo metamorphosis. And then once they do metamorphose into an adult dragonfly, they only live for a short time. Depending on the species, it can be a few days to a few weeks. So again, if we're looking at our key here, our dragonflies are another class 1 species. So again, further indication that we have nice clean water here. Alright, so I was poking around in the stream here and I just noticed this right here. And what we're looking at is an egg mass. So this is either frog or salamander, not 100% sure, but it's very gooey and jelly to the touch. It sort of looks like a giant blob of snot. And inside that cluster, there are hundreds of eggs. So our amphibians, when they lay their eggs, do so in the water, and they lay 100 or more at a time, because pretty much everything else that lives in this water likes to eat those eggs. So there's kind of safety in numbers there. Most of those won't hatch or won't survive to adulthood, but when they have so many, there's a better chance that at least a couple of them are going to actually hatch and survive. Another critter that we have here, not a macroinvertebrate, this guy does indeed have vertebrae, I'll be yapped away. That was a green frog. Alright, here's another one of those caddisfly larvae casings. Just saw this one sitting kind of right out in the open, so that's a good sign. We want to find those. So I decided to poke around in this little kind of puddle here that's just to the side of the stream. Flipped over some leaves, and on one of those leaves we found another macroinvertebrate. So if you guys can see, take a look there. I'll put them over the paper so it's a little bit easier to see. But you notice that there is a 3-pronged tail. So then we're going to refer to our key and look for those macros that have a 3-pronged tail. And we know that we've got a mayfly larva. And again, they are one of those class 1 organisms, indicating that we've got nice, clean, healthy water. Thanks everyone for coming for a walk with me today. I hope you enjoyed our exploration here at Stairway Ridge, and hopefully you'll be able to go out and explore a stream near you. Bye!